and all the time. So this discussion for today, the 6th day of the Pentecost Novena, started in the morning. For those of us who are not aware, we have started in the morning. And in the morning, I gave an assignment, and I am here to take the answer. Now, the question I asked in the morning, what is the male name and the female name for crocodile? Wonderful. So what is the name for a male crocodile or a female crocodile? It was homework in the morning. You didn't even copy. Who found out? Wow. Did you? Yes. So what did you get? It's what? Somebody give her a microphone. I'm sure she had the answer right because the way she said it's funny. I am sure she has the answer right. If it were in a class, I'll give her a cane to lash everybody before she says the answer. And if it is wrong, everybody will lash you. You give her the microphone. You say what you got. Which one is the bull? And then the female, put your hands together for her. And so, homework for the whole church. Only one person did it. God is good. Now, I'm sure you'll be asking, why is Father asking for male name and the female name for crocodile? It is so interesting. The male crocodile is called a bull, and the female crocodile is called a cow. Cow. C-O-W, cow. She's surprised. Now, I'm sure we all know what is a bull. Practically, we all know what is a bull, the popular bull. Their generic name is what? Together, they are called cattle. But the male cattle is called a bull, and the female cattle is called a cow. Now, so interesting enough, there are several animals that are called bull and cow. Now, if I ask you of, say, an antelope, you know an antelope. What does the antelope look like? It looks like what? Now, what is the male name for an antelope? It's what? It's what? And the male name for an antelope is called a bull. And the female name is what? A cow. Oh, you are good students. It looks like you've all done the research with me. Then we all know the animal called buffalo. What does the buffalo look like? Now, what is the male name for the buffalo? And then the female name for buffalo? Wonderful, you have passed. Now, you all know a camel. What is the male name for a camel? The male name for a camel and the female name for a camel? Clap for yourself. Now, you all know an elephant. What is the male name for elephant? Yeah? Oh, be confident. The male name for an elephant and the female name for an elephant? Clap for yourself. It's so interesting. Now, it is the difference lies in their young ones. If I had time, would have seen the differences in their young ones. Now, you all know dolphin. What is a dolphin? Where does the dolphin live? Now, what's the male name for the dolphin? The female name for a dolphin? Clap for yourself. Interesting. The dolphin lives in the sea. It is a type of fish. But the dolphin's male is called a bull. And then the female is called a cow. So interesting. Now you all know giraffe. Do you know giraffe? What does a giraffe look like? Somebody do like this. Okay. What is the male name for the giraffe? And the female name? Clap for yourself. Now you know a whale. What does a whale look like? It also looks like a fish. Where does it live? What is the male name for a whale? And the female name for a whale? Clap for yourself. Okay, now the last one that we'll close on this. You all know fish. Fish in general. What is the male name for fish? Oh, don't you have confidence again? What is the male name for fish? And the female name for fish? Oh. Now this time you are wrong. This time you are wrong. Now, a male fish is called male fish. And then the female is called female fish. They don't have unique names. There are certain animals like that, like frog. We say male frog and female frog. But all those that we have seen is either a bull or a cow. Now, we have finished the topic. Hello? We have finished. Today, what we are looking at is the identity of the Christian, or knowing your identity in the Lord. Knowing your identity in the Lord. Knowing your identity in the Lord. What is the identity? The identity of a Christian, or the identity of anything, is that which makes the thing unique. It makes the thing unique. So wherever you see that thing, you make it out and mention its name. It stands out. In this room, when you mention Father January, or if you mention the name January, perhaps you may have 2 or 3, because some children have been named after me in this church. Some few children, so we could have 2 or 3 Januaries in this church. But what makes this one unique from this one? What identity is this one having from this one? And so when you start mentioning the qualities, then we know, you are talking about January the priest, or January the small boy who has been born recently. Hello? Hello? So now we want to know our identity in the Lord. What identifies us to the Lord, so that anyone who sees us will make us out straight away. Now, if I go out of this church with my cassock and walking on the street, anyone who sees me will address me Father, or will say, this is a Catholic priest. Why? Because I have an identity. Something makes me out of the Lord. I have an identity. And so what will identify us from the rest? This evening we have just seen different types of animals that can be called bull and then a cow. Yet at the mention of their name, you know this one lives in the sea. This one lives on the land. This one's neck is very long. This one is very stout. But they still have the same name. The male may be called a bull. The female may be called a cow. But the identity is different. If you put it to the normal cow and the bull, you will see difference. There are difference in it. So this is where our talk brings out clearly to us what we are going to talk about. Now, after Christ died, And then the Holy Spirit came upon the apostles. Peter and Paul, together with the other apostles, started going out and were preaching. And then during the persecution, they wanted to kill the Christians and destroy Christianity. But there was a very wise man, a very learned man called Gamaliel. Gamaliel at the council stood up and said, no, these people, their traits are just like some people who have come and gone. They are just like those groups of people who surface at a point and after a while they vanish. When their leader dies, they all die. And so we shouldn't persecute them anymore. Let us allow them to continue. They should continue. But if what they are doing is of the Lord, then we are fighting against God. But if what they are doing is not of the Lord, it will die out. Allow them. Then the council took the advice of Gamaliel and they left them. They said, now you go ahead. They are sitting and they are watching. And so the name they gave them at that point was the people of the way. They were not called Christians. They were called the people of the way. And so when they saw them, these are the people of the way. Why? Because they believe they are following Jesus, who said, I am the way. And these people were living a new way of life, different from the Jewish way of life, different from an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But Jesus told his followers, when someone slaps you on the left, turn the right. And that was what they were going by. And they saw a different group of people who were living together, sharing whatever they had. It was a new way. And so they called them the people of the way. Then in Acts chapter 11, verse 25 to 26, shall we open our Bibles? Acts chapter 11, verse 25 to 26. Okay. So, then he went to Tarsus to search for Saul. Then in verse 26, we are told, and when he found him, he brought him to Antioch. For a whole year, they met. Now I can see. They met with the church and taught large numbers. And the disciples were first called Christians. And so for the first time, they were called Christians only in Acts chapter 11. All these years, they were not called Christians. They only identified them as the people of the new way because they saw in them a new way of life. At this point, now they saw another identity. That now these people are living like the Christos, the anointed one, the Christ. And so they are the followers of Christ. They are living their lives like Christ. And for that matter, these people would be called the Christians. They had an identity. Today, this name, Christian, carries the identity. Once you mention your name and say, I am a Christian, something is expected of you. Hello? Are you here? Are you here? The identity is in the name. Christians, the identity is in the name. Christ-like. Christ-like. Now, those who are very good when it comes to materials, okay, or cloth, once the name GTP is mentioned, some of us, we don't know which is which. You look at the color, oh, this one is nice, whether it's GTP or Akosombo or China or Printers or what, Holland or Ghana. Cloth is cloth. Once it is nice, some of us will just pick and go. But some will look out for some qualities, something to identify the cloth with, and say, I want to buy Holland. Let me see. Hey, mommy, I turn China now. I will see Holland. How do we know? We look at the identity. This name, Christian, today everybody is carrying on himself. Perhaps it is like the name bull and cow. Hello? Do you see where we are driving to? If we brought all these animals together and we mention the name, all bulls come out, you will see the crocodile bull will come and is crawling on the ground. You will see the giraffe bull. You will see the cow bull. Cow bull, no. The cattle bull. Now you understand. You get it? So the cattle bull, and you will see that they are different. Then you will see the dolphin bull, the whale bull. And when you put them together, what do they have in common? Hello? What do they have in common? What do they have in common? The name. The name is what they have in common. What type of bull are you? What type of cow are you? What type of identity do you have as a Christian? Do you just have the name? Is it just the name you have as a tag? Or you are living by the name? My dear friends, it is when you know who you are, if you know who you are, and you identify yourself by what you are, when you are walking out there, you will go out with pride, without fear, not being afraid of anything, because you know who you are. You know whose son you are. You know whose daughter you are. Hello? So many years ago, perhaps when my mother went somewhere and she was introducing herself, she only mentioned her name. That is all. But today, when she wants to introduce herself, like many people will do, my name is this. My son is Father this. True or false? My name is this. Oh, Father, this is my brother. How are you brothers? Oh, my uncle's brother's sister's son. So it's my brother. I call him brother. Identity. What is the identity of the Christian? Do you know who you are? If you know who you are, you will walk out there. Last 2 Sundays, when I preached about the power we have been given as a Christian, remember I told you that it doesn't matter how slim the policeman looks like. Do you remember? It doesn't matter how fat the policeman looks like. It doesn't matter how sick the policeman looks like. It doesn't matter how short the policeman looks like. It doesn't matter how young the policeman looks like. But he comes with what? Power. Power given to him from the government. And so when he's coming to arrest you, he comes with all the confidence. Even though you can catch him and beat him, literally, but he still has power over you. Amen. But if you don't know who you are, you don't know the power you have, you don't know your identity, even you go and you're afraid. Let's look at the identity of a Christian. First and foremost, we are Christians. We all have that name. That name we all have, Christians. But what is our position? If you are a Christian, what does that mean to you?